Most people are doing everything right, hitting the gym, eating clean, counting their steps, staying consistent, and yet they still look and feel off. Puffy face, low energy, constant fatigue, and they can't figure out why. Here's the thing that most people completely miss. There is one hormone quietly running the show behind the scenes, and where it's chronically elevated, it doesn't matter how clean your diet is or how hard you train, you're going to feel wrecked anyway. That hormone is cortisol. Now, before you click off thinking, oh, this is just another stress video, hear me out, because what I'm about to share goes way deeper than just meditate more or stress less. We are talking about the actual biological mechanisms that control this hormone. And once you understand them, the fixes become really simple. I'm going to break this down into 3 clear, actionable steps. No supplements being pushed, no scams, no overcomplicated nonsense. Just the information that actually matters, explained in a way that makes sense. So let's get into it. Alright, first, let's talk about what cortisol actually is, because most people get this completely wrong. Everyone assumes cortisol is just a stress hormone. And while that's technically true, it's a massive oversimplification. Cortisol is actually a master hormone. When it's functioning properly, spiking at the right times, dropping at the right times, it makes you look sharp, feel energized, and recover fast after exercising or a tough day. The problem is, when cortisol becomes chronically elevated, when it's constantly high, it starts aging you faster. It creates inflammation throughout the body. It breaks down muscle, promotes fat storage, disrupts sleep, wrecks your skin, and tanks your energy. And the cruel irony is that the more exhausted and inflamed you are, the harder it becomes to lower it, because your body reads that state as a threat, which then keeps cortisol elevated even more. So the real question isn't just how do I stress less. The real question is, how do I actually regulate the biological systems that control cortisol in the first place? That's what this is about. Step 1, fix your sleep, but actually fix it. Everyone knows sleep is important. Nobody needs to be told that. But the issue is that most people aren't addressing the root causes of bad sleep. They're just going to bed earlier and hoping for the best. That doesn't work. Here's what actually matters. Your body runs on something called a circadian rhythm, essentially an internal clock that tells every system in your body when to be awake, when to wind down, when to release which hormones, and when to recover. Cortisol is deeply tied to this rhythm. Ideally, cortisol spikes in the morning to wake you up and then gradually drops throughout the day so that by evening, your body can actually rest and repair. But when your circadian rhythm gets disrupted, which happens to almost everyone in the modern world, cortisol starts spiking at the wrong times. It's high at night when it should be low. It's low in the morning when it should be high. The whole system gets thrown off. And that's when you end up feeling wired at midnight and exhausted at 8 AM. Alright, so how do you fix this? There are 3 non-negotiables. Number 1, morning sunlight. The single most powerful thing you can do to anchor your circadian rhythm is to expose your eyes to natural sunlight within the first 30 to 60 minutes of waking up. Natural sunlight contains specific light wavelengths that signal to your brain that it's daytime. This triggers a healthy cortisol spike, the kind that wakes you up properly, and it also sets a biological timer that causes melatonin to release roughly 12 to 14 hours later, making it easier to fall asleep at night. This isn't optional. This is your body's most fundamental biological signal. Number 2, blue light management in the evening. Here's something most people don't think about. When you're scrolling your phone, watching TV, or sitting under artificial lighting in the evening, your eyes are being exposed to blue light. And blue light sends the exact same signal to your brain as morning sunlight, meaning it tells your body to stay awake. So even if you're physically exhausted, your brain is receiving a wake-up signal. The result? You can't fall asleep properly. Sleep quality tanks, and cortisol gets thrown off for the next day. Wearing blue light blocking glasses or at minimum dimming screens and switching to warmer lighting after sunset makes a genuine difference. Number 3, magnesium before bed. Magnesium is one of the most important minerals for sleep, nervous system regulation, and cortisol management. Most people don't get enough of it, and low magnesium is linked to poor sleep and elevated stress. The most evidence-backed approach is oral magnesium glycinate, taken before bed, which has some of the best available evidence, supports oral magnesium for sleep for improving sleep quality. Some people also experiment with topical magnesium sprays applied to the skin. Though the research on how well magnesium is absorbed through the skin is still mixed and not fully settled, some people do report finding it helpful as part of a wind-down routine. Whichever form works for you, the goal is simply to make sure your magnesium levels are topped up, as it plays a direct role in calming the nervous system at night. Those 3 things, morning light, blue light management in the evenings, and adequate magnesium, are foundational for rewiring your sleep, which in turn starts to normalize your cortisol rhythm. Step 2, the light diet. This one has nothing to do with what you eat, but it might be just as important. The concept is simple. Your body needs natural light to function properly, and not just a quick glance outside in the morning. We're talking about sustained, real outdoor light exposure. Ideally 20 to 30 minutes of full body sunlight in the morning, and then getting outside throughout the day as much as possible. Here's the science behind why this matters so much. Your mitochondria, the structures inside your cells that produce energy, are directly activated by red and near-infrared light wavelengths, which are naturally present in sunlight. When your mitochondria are hit with these wavelengths, they become significantly more efficient at producing ATP, which is essentially the fuel your cells run on. Think of your mitochondria like solar panels. They are designed to absorb natural light and convert it into energy. When they don't get enough of that light, because you're mostly indoors under artificial lighting, they underperform. Energy production drops, and one of the downstream effects on this, your circadian rhythm gets disrupted, which in turn keeps cortisol dysregulated over time. It's also worth knowing that your body's circadian alignment with natural light directly affects how well your metabolism functions, including how efficiently your cells respond to insulin. Research has shown that disrupted light exposure is associated with impaired metabolic function, and getting regular outdoor light helps keep those systems running properly. The fix is genuinely free. Get outside in the morning, walk to work if you can, sit by a window, have your lunch outdoors, expose your skin and eyes to actual natural light throughout the day. A lot of people spend money on red light therapy devices, which do have some evidence behind them, but the sun is doing the same thing for free, at a much greater intensity. The real issue is that most people just aren't using it. This step doesn't cost anything. It doesn't require a supplement or a product. It just requires you to actually go outside. Step 3. Structured hydration. This one tends to surprise people because the advice sounds counterintuitive at first, but stick with it because it genuinely changes how you think about hydration. Most people believe that the way to stay hydrated is to drink a lot of plain water throughout the day, and on the surface that makes sense, but here's something worth understanding. Water without minerals or electrolytes doesn't hydrate your cells as efficiently as water that comes paired with them. Electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and magnesium are what actually guide water into your cells and keep fluid balance stable. Without them, your body can struggle to hold on to and distribute the water you're drinking properly. This is why a lot of people who drink plenty of water still feel tired, get headaches, and feel off. It's not that the water is bad. Obviously drink your water. It's that water works best when your electrolyte intake is also solid. The better approach, sometimes called structured hydration, is to get a significant portion of your hydration from whole foods that contain water already naturally paired with minerals and electrolytes. Foods like watermelon, cucumber, citrus fruits, and leafy greens are 90 to 95% water, but it's water that comes naturally packaged alongside minerals, antioxidants, and electrolytes in a way that's easy for the body to use. Milk is another example of a food that provides well-rounded hydration because it contains water, fat, protein, and minerals in a natural ratio. Even meat, particularly when it's not overcooked, retains a significant amount of water content along with fat-soluble vitamins. When you cook a steak to well done and the juices all cooked out, you're losing a lot of that nutritional content along with it. The key shift in thinking here is this. Rather than just trying to drink more plain water, focus on eating more water-dense whole foods and making sure your diet includes good sources of natural minerals and electrolytes. Real food does this job really well. If you need to supplement with electrolytes, especially around exercise or illnesses, that's completely fine too. Electrolyte supplements are well established and work, but for day-to-day life, prioritizing whole foods is the most natural and effective baseline. When your cells are properly hydrated at this deeper level, inflammation drops, the nervous system becomes more regulated, and cortisol naturally starts to come down over time. Putting it all together, to recap, here are the 3 steps. 1. Fix your sleep by anchoring your circadian rhythm with morning sunlight, managing blue light exposure in the evenings, and making sure your magnesium levels are adequate to support your nervous system at night. 2. Take the light diet seriously. Get 20 to 30 minutes of outdoor sunlight in the morning and make a habit of being outside throughout the day. Your mitochondria needs real light to function, and this alone can dramatically shift how your body manages energy and keeps hormones balanced. 3. Rethink hydration. Stop relying solely on plain water and start prioritizing whole foods with high water content, natural minerals, and electrolytes. This supports cellular hydration in a way that plain water on its own can't fully achieve. None of these steps require expensive products. They are built on the understanding that your body already knows how to regulate cortisol. It just needs the right inputs to do so. Chronically elevated cortisol isn't your natural state. It's a product of modern habits and modern environments. And the solution, more often than not, is about removing the things that are disrupting your biology and giving your body what it was actually designed to receive. That's morning light, that's real food, that's proper rest. Start there, be consistent, and give it time. If you're interested in more of these, click the first link down below, and I'll see you guys inside.